Ora, good evening. Welcome to one more session of Code Night New Zealand. And tonight we have a special guest, Tiago Custodio. Tiago, how are you?
Hi guys, good evening or good
Yeah,
morning.
good morning for you.
Yeah,
What time is like is in your place?
it's 3 a.m., 3:04 to be more specific.
Well, that's definitely a commitment, like just to help the community. And thank you. 3 a.m. like it's just
No
yeah,
worries, I'm having
yeah.
fun for sure.
No, thank you. Appreciate it. And you have like a very interesting topic that you're going to be sharing with us tonight. And I
Hopefully,
think that has captured our attention in the past few months, right?
okay.
Specifically with like OpenAI, right? So I think like now people are just like exploring Azure Search and its limits. So what
Mm.
what are you bringing to us tonight?
Yeah, to be honest, the OpenAI kind of eclipsed a little bit the Azure Cognitive Search, but there's still space for it, in my opinion. And to be honest, you can combine both services, but it was something I was considering to bring as well. But today I will focus specifically on Azure Cognitive Search. And if
Mhm.
people enjoy, maybe in another day we can do the part two where we'll cover the two services combined. Sounds like a plan.
No, that's good. Yeah, I think like I've been definitely exploring Azure, the cognitive search more and more.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think that's it's getting momentum. I can see like others in the business exploring
Yeah, I've
the
been working
service.
with that since the beginning. I think,
Hmm.
if I'm not wrong, the launch was October 2014, and
Hmm.
since then I've been working with that. I saw the everything actually, the good and bad of it. And
Yeah,
past few months I was in Microsoft for MVP Summit, and I had the
yeah.
opportunity to chat with the principal and the main heads behind the service. So the future is bright, and yeah, let's see. Today, actually, I'll focus more in the getting started and explain the type of problem it helps to
Hmm.
solve. And yeah, hopefully, it will speed up a lot the adoption from um, people that it's attending here, and it will add some skills for them.
No, for sure. Yeah. Thanks for sharing. But like before Tiago starts, I just like to share with you if you are like coming for the this user group for the first time, I'd just like to introduce who we are. We are a community of developers that love coding and follow best practices on software development languages and technologies. In general, we tend to focus more on the Microsoft stack, but we are open to talk about any other technologies. And as you can see here, the intent of the user group is to enable developers with practical knowledge to excel and launch their careers. So every single time we have like these our sessions, I think we're always going to get something out of it, right? If you're like a junior dev, a lead developer, there's always like great content that you're going to make use of it. And also, I'd like to mention that we are part of AzureTar.com. We are like a community group of that explores the cloud native latest and greatest. Also, we're sponsored by the .NET Foundation.org, so where that's an entity, an open source. Well, it's an entity that looks after the different open source projects in the .NET space. And with no further ado, Tiago, I'd just like to give you the floor, and if you can bring your
The screen, all
slides.
right. Let me figure out. Just give me a second here.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, found it.
When you're ready.
Let me know when you
Okay,
can
let
see
me.
my screen, please.
It's coming now. Let me share. So now, yeah, things
Up.
are in.
Cool. All right. Thanks for having me. And as I said, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, whatever you are. My name is Thiago Custódio. I do study and focus my career mainly on Azure Space. I've been working with that since 2012, working, but I had the opportunity to interact with that before that. I think my first contact with Azure was in 2010, if I'm not wrong. It was the Silverlight portal. So if you know what I'm talking
Mm.
about, it was that old. And yeah, let's skip this part. But, it's been a while, but and I've been working with .NET since the beginning. I had the very lucky to join a company which was adopting it in the very beginning. At that time was .NET Framework 1.0, and they had uh,
Wow.
just launched the 1.1. So I've been focusing my career with Microsoft technology since then. But of course, I know other things, but mainly I work with Microsoft stack. And I put my picture here from the time I lived in New Zealand. I had the joy and the opportunity to live over there for 1 year. It was amazing. If I could, I would like to spend more time over there. But I was telling myself before our live here, I do have a few cats, and they are not allowed to travel from Brazil to New Zealand. So that was one of the reasons I had to return. Unfortunately, there were other things for sure, but that was one of the main ones. But I do miss a lot New Zealand, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Currently, I've been working for a company called Zebia. Actually, the company is Xspirit, but it's part of a parent company called Zebia. So this company Xspirit started as the Microsoft shop for Zebia. So we are all about Microsoft, and whenever there's a need for other technologies or other things, Zebia takes care. And over there, I work as Azure App Modernization Consultant. And yeah, if you want to get in touch, find me on Twitter or LinkedIn. The alias is th.net. And a cool picture of mine. I think that picture is in Victoria Street, if I'm not wrong.
Victoria
Or
Street. Yeah.
yeah, no. I'm trying to remember, but anyway, it
Wow.
was
Yeah. Good memory.
yeah, it was a cool winter day, I think, or just a regular New Zealand.
Yeah.
Cool. And so for today, I'll be covering for sure Azure Cognitive Search, but because am not seeing you guys and I don't know any previous information about your background, I'll introduce you to the world of information retrieval. I'll explain a little bit the kind of problem the Azure Cognitive Search helps to solve, and then we switch to the service itself, and I'll do some demos, and I save some time for questions. Hopefully, it will be interesting for you guys. So, information retrieval, it's one of the topics that I enjoy the most since the very beginning. So, I'm not that old. I'm 35, almost 36, but I had the opportunity to play with and play and study a little bit and the internet since the beginning as well. So I came from a family which I was very lucky. My parents, they invest a lot in my education and my brothers. So we study in a school which introduce students to technology, and because of that, my first contact with internet was in 1995. In Brazil, it was the very beginning, and on that time, for search websites, we mainly had Alta Vista. No, I think it was not Alta Vista. It was. Yahoo for sure, and there's another. I think it was AutoVis. Sorry about it. But the thing is, if you had a website on that time, you had to get in touch with them, and they may or may not add your website to their platform, which was frustrating, right? And then a few years later, in 1998, Google was, being developed inside. Um, I can't remember if it was MIT or something like this, but yeah, that's how the web changed, and it's pretty much how we know nowadays. But yeah, just to present you to this space, imagine, for example, this. Oh, sorry, the image distorted a little bit, but imagine the following sentence: the bright blue butterfly hangs on the breeze. It's best to forget the gray sky and to retire from every wind. In under blue sky, in bright sunlight, one needs to search around. Random quotes, but the thing is, imagine that you need to store this kind of content and enable users to search whatever they want on top of this and many other documents, right? You may start to model and try to solve it using regular relational database, and maybe you will end up with something like this. But not the store procedure, but the query will look like this. So retrieve all the content from content table where um, a term looks like what the user is searching, right? And this may solve or not your needs, or it will add more problems as well. So um, this is pretty much what information retrieval is all about. Um, the proper way to solve it, it's by implementing this data structure called inverted index, where you have like a flat table and you have a single entry for every term you have across all the documents, and then you just have a reference to which document contains that particular word. So from the previous sentences I gave you, if I ask you, for example, what are the documents that contain the blue word, all we have to do is come to the inverted index, figure out if we have the term we are looking for. For the example I just gave is blue, and then you go right here and figure out, oh, the documents 1 and 3 contain blues, and yeah, 1 and 3 contain blues. And this is it pretty much. So, of course, this is just the surface. There's way more than that. There's this concept about stop words, sorry. So stop words are articles, prepositions, and things that repeat a lot. It's you know may not add any context to your search, but sometimes in a few cases you need to include it. So it's case by case. Most of the time we end up removing from the inverted index, and by the way, it's abstracted to you, but in specific cases you may want to search for that. But anyway, so if you want to dive deep into this concept, there are 2 books I recommend. The first one is this one, which I believe is the one they use in MIT. And if I'm not wrong, this is the one from MIT itself. And there's another one also with the same topic. Anyway, I study a lot of these things. And the books, to be honest, they are kind of outdated. They will present you and explain the foundations, but nowadays things change a lot, especially because of AI. But even before AI, they were a little bit outdated. So as I said, it will just give you the foundations. I'm not saying it's useless. It's super useful, but don't expect it is how things work nowadays, at least entirely. And okay, I explained about the searching part, the retrieval, but then let's say, uh, let's pick from the other, the same example here. The documents 1 and 3 contain blues, right? But then, which one is more relevant? In, of course, in this case, we can present both, but imagine that we have, I don't know, thousands or even millions of documents with the same word, right? So the major problem is about ranking. Not only, I mean, first problem is finding the documents or pages with that particular word. And then once you figure out, the second problem is about ranking, which one is more relevant. So um, imagine, for example, Google, you don't want to navigate across, I don't know, 100 pages to figure out the thing you are looking for. It's on page 101, right? And the ranking part is explained by this formula. It's called TF-IDF. I don't want to dive deep into this concept, but it's pretty much a formula that you have the term frequency and then the frequency of that term across all the documents, and um, you pretty much end up with percentage from 0 to 1. And of course, the closest to 1, it means that that particular document or page is more relevant. And the more far away means that it's relevant. So you may end up sorting by that. And this is how things started, as I said, and this formula it's explained in depth on those books I just showed. But today, actually, this formula itself, it introduces another problem that Google solved a couple years ago. But if you imagine, for example, and this is something that people used to do, people can not fake, but they can, they can fake their relevance. That's a good word, because they can, type the same word. Once they figure out the ones that are more relevant according to their page, they can, paint in white or whatever is the background of your page. They can include multiple times of the word, and they pretend that they are more relevant than they are in reality. And this is pretty much what Google PageRank is all about. It's about figuring out which page is more relevant. And I'm not going to touch on this today, but there's another formula called BM25 or Okapi BM25. That's the real name of the algorithm. That no matter if people try to, fake their relevance or not, they can include, extra 1,000,000 or 1,000,000. It's too much, but 1,000,000 times the same word that it won't, affect too much the formula. But anyway, that was just a little bit of theory behind the information retrieval and how things work. So switching now to Azure Cognitive Search. Actually, before that, so I forgot to include one thing here, which is about the inverted index itself. So you don't need to implement this yourself by hand. I mean, there are libraries over there that implement this for you. The main one is called Lucene, and it's open source and well used in the entire web. There is a lucene.net in case you want. I used in the past, and there are search engines that were built on top of Lucene, because Lucene is not only about the inverted index and the relevance part, the TF, IDF, or BM25. It's more than that. I'll explain a little bit. But on top of that, people created search engines. There's a bunch of them. So also from the Apache Foundation, there is Solr. And then there's a variation which was built from other people and became a huge successful company called Elasticsearch. So Azure Cognitive Search, it started as a managed version of Elasticsearch, but then Microsoft customized and it got a different path and route. And because of that, it's since the beginning actually, it started as just Azure Search, and maybe I don't know, maybe 5 years ago, they started to introduce some AI concepts, and then they introduced this cognitive and the name of the product. I'll explain what it does, but basically it's Azure Search with AI enhancements. And yeah, so as I said, Azure Cognitive Search is one Azure service that it's pretty much the search engine managed by Microsoft. The cool thing is that you can plug data sources from multiple Azure services if you want. And once you have data indexed over there, you can create these rich search capabilities or search websites. It's one of the demos I'll show you today. It's a job search demo. And we do have, besides the inverted index and the ranking, there's this red box I put here. This is called Faceit. So imagine, for example, you have, where's the name? E-commerce, sorry. It's 3 a.m. The brain is damaged, but imagine you have e-commerce and you want to enable this kind of navigation. So you have manufacturers and you want to enable grouping by that manufacturer. So for example, LG or Samsung, and then users click on that and it display just products from that brand or that manufacturer, and you enable this drill down. So this is what we call facets. Then Azure Cognitive Search also enables geolocation search. So there's a specific data type where you can add in your index, and then you just pass, hey, from this point here, enable a search of, I don't know, 15 miles range, and it will present just results in that range. There's paging for sure, and there's sorting. So there are different ways for you to sort, and it will present not only results with the word or term that users are searching, but also it will display in the proper order according to the relevance you specify. And there are other features as well, but to me, those are the selling points and probably the ones you'll be using the most. I mentioned before about the rebranding from Azure Search to Azure Cognitive Search. And now the service is called Azure Cognitive Search, right? And the cognitive part is pretty much combining and adding the AI services from available on Azure, the Azure Cognitive Search, and it will enable you to enrich whatever you are ingesting into Azure Cognitive Search. So just to give you a few examples, you can translate data before storing it, or you can enable OCR and some kind of computer vision to extract information from images or even other things. Yeah, you can also, for example, some real use case, people can have like invoices or some other forms, and you may want to extract, not only extract the information from this paper, but also enable search on top of it. So you can combine another cognitive search, which is called form recognizer, and extract the information and enable the search on top of that, or any other cool, interesting thing that you already have for your scenario. You can combine AI experiments. Anyway, yeah, the sky's the limit. It's pretty much it. And yeah, once you have the data over there, you can search and retrieve information the way I explained. And that's all I have for today. So before jumping to cool demos, do you have any kind of questions so far?
Not at the moment.
or if
Just
you do
looking at
have
the chat.
something that it was not clear, maybe there's some
Yeah, I
question in the
reckon with the
chat over there.
demos, people perhaps are gonna come with more with questions.
Sounds good to me, man. All right. So first things first, I already have a resource group set up here that I'll show you where to find the real service. My portal. Yeah, that's good. Okay, that's good. Sorry, it was working before. Maybe okay.
Yeah, we lost
Weird.
like your sharing, um, Thiago.
Yeah, I'm trying to log out and log in again. This is why I
Okay.
stopped. I don't know what's going on. Not even my image is loading. Now that I'm back, looks like.
Yeah, I think it's just like a connectivity
Let me try
issue.
something
Yeah.
real quick.
In the meantime, if you have like any questions around the concepts that Thiago has brought up, feel free just to ask on the chat.
Looks like I'm back. I don't know. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you
You
and
blink your eyes, I believe.
see you. It's just like your screen, so that's not shared.
It's still there, Marcel.
I'm not seeing your screen to be
Hello,
shared.
hello.
Yeah, we can hear you and see you. Yeah,
Just give me 1 second. I'll try to.
yeah. Let's see. So Thiago has just dropped off. Hopefully he comes soon. I'm just interested like to see this demo because what we've been exploring with OpenAI in how you can connect documents or how you can connect to different data sources. That's exactly what Thiago is going to show us, how to use the cognitive services within search. And hopefully that he comes back and join us soon. But the service itself has been there like on Azure since in its launch. So but the I think now coming with vector search, and I think that's where like where things got like really exciting, because it's just like not a regular search anymore. So really keen to see like that one um, demo. Hopefully he comes back. Let me just try like reaching him in another channel here. Just a minute. Just hang with me. And if we had like a service that we could do like some sort of heartbeats, yeah, just trying like reaching to him. So hopefully that his connectivity is okay, or if he had like issues with his laptop, things are resolved. Let's give him like a few more minutes. Okay, you can see he's coming back. Not sure if you're hearing, Thiago. I can see like you are trying to share your screen, but like your video is not coming up. Okay. Yeah, something to do with your web camera, if you can hear me. Hey, Thiago, we can see you, but we cannot hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, now all good.
Yeah, sorry about it. I had to join from a different computer. To be honest, I don't know what's going on because the one I was using maybe it was a StreamYard. That's what I'm thinking.
Mm,
It was not loading the portal at all. I had to reboot the one and Oh, I joined through the other one as well. Can you
Or
me?
just revert to the other one? Oh,
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Just a
I
minute.
sorry.
Okay, you're back.
I apologize. Yeah, yeah. Sorry about it. What a moment for uh, a problem.
We're
But
just
anyway, we
waiting
are
like
back.
for the demo
So
to
the
happen.
portal is working. I just tested. Let me share my screen again.
Oh, good.
Oh, do you need a demo? The content was not there. I'm checking. All right. Let me know when you can see my screen. To me, it's already sharing. Maybe there's some 5 seconds delay. All right, there we go. Cool.
Okay,
As I was
it's
saying,
loading.
so cognitive search.
Yeah, it's back.
And I don't know what's going on. Every time I try to click the create resource, and they may are releasing any deployment at this moment. Who knows? All right, it's super slow, but it's I see. Anyway, there is a service called Cognitive Search. If I can show this. Yeah, it's taking forever, but it load, finally load. Sorry. So once you find it in your Azure portal, you just hit create. Uh, right. So you basically select your research group. You provide a unique name for your service, and you select the pricing tier. So pricing tier is something important to cover. Uh, you can you can have like a free tier, but it's super limited, and you can go to super optimized services for heavy, intense production workloads. So as you can see in my screen, hopefully, it's working. So you do have different tiers, different offerings, and for each tier you have a maximum of number of indexes you can create, and also the maximum of storage and some number of replicas and search unities, partitions. So all of that is pretty much to enable high availability and performance for your search. And here you have like an estimate cost for the service monthly, but of course it depends on consumption. But yeah, once you select that, and you can start slow or small and increase when needed. Um, just go next, finish, and you end up with a search service. Right? I already have one over here, which pretty much the setup I just showed you. And then the first thing you want to do is model your index. So in the menu here, we do have this index. Let's see if it will work or not. Hopefully. Hey, Marcel, can you do a quick test and log on and see if you're facing such problems? Can you do
So
that,
what?
please? While that's
Sorry, Tiago,
trying to.
your connection was kind of breaking
Huh?
a little bit.
Okay. Until what you saw or you heard.
Yeah, the connection on your voice kind of breaking a little bit. So if you can just like repeat, please, that will help.
Sure. So I was explaining the uh, how you can set up the Azure service on your site, and then once you have that, you want to create an index. So let's see if it will load properly. Some reason it's taking forever. But let me try one finally. So the index is like the index I used before. You add fields. So for example, that's always content, but it could be anything. Could be like first name, address, something like that. And then you specify the data type for that field, like int, so on, so on. If it's a date, it's a geo point to enable the geolocation, as I explained before. Support types. So, for example, you may want to enable search on top of address, and you can have things split like zip code, street name, city, so on, so on. So you can have this complex type and perform search on top of that, Boolean, and so on. And then you specify some attributes for that field. If it's retrievable, it means that it will be included in the response payload. If it's filterable, you can filter by that content. So, for example, uh, you enable users to search by a particular word, and then you want to filter by a specific category, for example. So, if you mark this filterable, you can enable that. If it's sortable, it will enable the sorting by that field in specific. If it's fastable, it will enable that grouping I showed you before, like group per manufacturer or brand, and then you enable the drill down. And searchable means that you will enable full text search on that field. So imagine, for example, you have a very large document and you want to enable search on top of all that document. So you may not be able to retrieve like 100 pages in the response payload, but you want to enable the search on that content. So searchable is that. And this is pretty much all you can do. You do that for all the fields you want to enable the search. And once you have that, you finally start pushing data. Of course, there's another way to do this. Not if, there are multiple ways actually. I just show you through the portal, but you can do that through Visual Studio as well. I may show you. Hopefully, it will be faster than the Azure portal. Let me just slide a little bit my Visual Studio. Yeah, I just realized the problem is StreamYard. It's freezing everything.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Sorry, guys. Some technical problems on my side. Looks like. All right. So first thing you need to do here is add a NuGet package. The NuGet is called Azure.search.documents. This is the official one and the one that is current being supported. There are other variations out there, but they are re- retired or outdated. So go for this one, and then you have access to a few things. So as I mentioned, you start by creating the index, but first you need to retrieve this search index client. You specify the index you want to create, and pretty much you create fields, just what I just showed you in the portal, and you specify if it's filterable, sortable, faceable, so on. And you hit index async, small problem here. And then you start pushing data. So imagine, for example, you have JSON with the content you want to push or you want to retrieve it from database. It's pretty much uh, parsing that data to a C# class with the same structure from your index. And then you just upload that content. Um, and you can do this in batch operations, so it goes uh, multiple documents at once in chunks rather than one by one, mainly because connection is not reliable, right? So I'll create a brand new index name here. Let's call it random, random, actually randomly. Sorry. And let's see, I'll run this program just to show you how to create the index by code. And once you have the index, once you have the data, the final piece is about searching, which I may be able to show you as well if everything works as expected. Just give me a second here. I feel like StreamYard is killing everything.
Yeah, but like I think now the connection is good, so things are continuing. So I got a question like for
Say that
this.
again?
So I got like a question for this console. So in general, like when you're creating
Yes.
those indexes, do
Go
how do
ahead.
you prefer? Like do you prefer creating
Hmm.
these sort of console apps or using PowerShell or how or using Bash? How do you do it in general with DevOps?
Good question. So, to me, what I've been doing, uh, I released this index creation as part of the application itself. I don't create console apps, and this is how I evolve as well. I let the application taking care of pushing data, creating the index, and so on. So I don't do this through DevOps. DevOps is pretty much the creation of the Azure service. But once you have that, the index modeling, I do this all by the application. So I do have like a dedicated search service, microservice or something like that. And for that, I create the index. Usually, you don't create indexes all the time. You do have a one time maybe creation of the index, and then it's all about pushing data. And the pushing data, the way I do is pretty much this: I sync all the content at once, and then I have like a on demand adding data to it. So I do have like a queue and then a measure function that they queue the message from the queue and adds
Hmm.
the data or enrich a little bit and then push the data to the index. So this is what I do in real world. That's how I do.
Yeah,
Maybe people do it differently, but this solves my problem.
yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, cool. Looks like I have a better performance right now, but for some reason um, I cannot play or run.
Okay,
Let's try again.
no worries. Yeah.
No, no, now it goes. I promise you. I just realized I left things running on my Docker. Sorry. Yeah,
Just killing your
because
resource.
yeah, I was blaming StreamYard, but in reality I have stuff running. I usually don't turn off or reboot the computer, but looks like I left heavy things running. Anyway, let's see if it will work this time. I'm actually impressed. My PC is not that slow. Yeah, something is blocking. But trust me, that's all you have to do in terms of code. Let's switch back to the portal and maybe I'll be able to show you more interesting things here. Because so far, nothing worked.
Oh, good.
That's it.
I don't know if you can zoom in a little bit on your browser.
Say that again. Ah, zoom it.
J- Yeah, just to no, just to zoom in, like maybe just increase the percentage of the zoom on the browser.
I will try. Actually, let's do differently. Can you make me a presenter in the other one that I have?
Uh, yep. On the other one.
Yes.
Okay,
I'm
it's
done
coming.
with this one.
All right, let me bring that one. Here we go.
All right. Hopefully, this one will be faster, which is weird. But
Yeah,
anyway,
it's much fast.
yeah, I think it was Docker. Anyway, another way to do the things here is by importing data. So first thing is you select the data source. Let's use, for example, blob storage. I'll give a name like DS, for example. And then you specify if you want to extract the content and metadata, all only the content or only the metadata. Uh, you connect to data source. So in my case, I have this created storage account and the container that I want. I call it files. Um, then you can specify, for example, if you want a particular structure in terms of the naming of the blob. So you don't want to ingest all the data from that particular container, maybe all a subset of that. Then, for example, the next steps is about creating the or enabling AI enrichment. So it does require AI service. I already have one pre-created here. And then you can enable some AI enrichment, like for example, enable OCR. It will extract text from images. You can enable like incremental enrichment because this can be heavy. So you can do little by little. Um, you can translate text as well if needed. Um, Pre-generated tags for images. So, for example, computer vision will run on top of your images, and it will kind of describe the things it identified. Like, for example, hey, this is a bottle of water, then there's a man, and so on and so on. Um, Let me see, looks like, yeah. Sorry, but yeah, you can secure the connection rather than using connection strings. You can use manage identities and so on. And here where the fun begins. So you select what will be retrievable, what will be filterable, what will be sortable, what will be fastable. So for example, um, I want to enable fastable by the extension. So let's say I want only text files, or I want only um, GIF images and so on. Let's also put this as filterable. And there's size here, there's sort by size, for example. Another thing interesting that I didn't mention before, it's about analyzer. So analyzer is a kind of transformation that happens before the data is stored in your inverted index. So there's a couple of default analyzers. Most of the time you end up using the standard one. But if you do have plans to store content in foreign languages like uh, Chinese or even Portuguese, that we have accents or different characters rather than the common ones, you may need a specific analyzer to support. Sorry, to support the search using the this kind of characters. And the suggester, it's something that you may want to set up as well. It's about the autocompletion. So if users type wrong, but you have content that is similar to what they are searching for, the suggester is what enabled that. And this workflow that I'm showing you, which will connect to your data source, will extract the data, create the index, and push the data to that index. This is, we will also create what we call indexer. So the indexer is this logic to pull the data, and you can schedule the execution like, hey, I want to extract data whenever needed, or you can also schedule hourly, daily, or custom. This is to keep data in sync, but in my real experience, I don't do things this way. I prefer to have what I explained to you guys. I have like a queue whenever I need to add. I may do something like this once just to get started. And then whenever there's new documents, I do this by code. So I add Azure functions and queues. And whenever there's new data that I need to index, I add a message to a queue. It may enrich a little bit, or if all the data I need is in the queue, or in the queue message, the message, I declare that message using Azure function, and I push the data there. Pretty much the code I show you, not the index creation, but just the data part. And yeah, so the indexer got created. You can see here it took 56 seconds to run for the first time. It identified three documents, or actually created 3 documents, because I do have only 3 files in my storage account. I have 2 images and 1 text. And once you have that, here's the index we just created. You can search, for example. Uh, this is pretty much everything that is stored in our index. So you guys can see it contains some tags from the images that I have. So computer vision, ran, identify like clothing, person, human face, screenshot, a wall, and so on. You can search by specific text. For example, I do have a text file about OData, and if I search by OData, it's in here. One thing to mention is, for example, let's say that your users they search by ODAT. I don't have a word called ODAT, right? And if you do remember from the very beginning of my presentation, the word needs to exist in your index in order to enable the lookup of the documents that contain that word and so on. This is not a real word, so you either use like a asterisk, or you use regular expression, or you enable the searchable on a particular field, and this kind of problem will be solved. Another option is by tokenizing the term. So you, from one single term, you split that term in multiple smaller tokens. So if you set up, like, for example, a minimum of 3 letters per token, it will create one like ODA, another one like DAT, another one by ATA. So it, ODAT, it's a valid subset of the OData. So because of that, the engine is smart enough to realize, hey, I don't have ODAT, but I do have you know this as part of tokens. So it will return the same document to you. And yeah, this is pretty much about searching. Of course, this is not the most optimal way to visualize data. It's just for you to test. I will show you more things here. Just one interesting thing is about scoring profiles. Scoring profiles is for you to customize the ranking. So the built-in is the one using BM25 algorithm that I described before. Um, I actually think that they do use a different one nowadays. I forgot the name, or actually I don't know. But anyway, scoring profiles is for you to um, specify your own ranking mechanism. Let's say, hey, if the word appears in the title name, it's way more relevant than in the content itself or in the description. So boost by the name. So this is what you do through scoring profiles. And about this demo that I just showed you, I mentioned that that was not the best way to visualize things. So Azure Cognitive Search team, they plug simple um, single page application, which will speed up and help you to visualize data in a better way. And it's a good getting started if you want to build real or better search experience. So let's say that I want the storage path as the title and the content as the description. Sidebar, because I only marked the extension as faceable, this is the only option available. And suggestion is the autocompletion that I mentioned. I didn't mark any of the fields as suggester, but as you saw, I just selected the options that I want, and it created this page. So this is pretty much a better way to visualize data. If you search, for example, for, I'm typing the wrong computer. OData. So this is the only document that contains OData. If I search for Scott, this is the representation of the image that contains Scott. Yeah, this is just another sample. Let me just show you another one, because I do feel like it's more prepared for that dashboard than the one I just showed you. So let's try again, import data. Let's use the samples. Let's use the hotels data source. Let's enable the enrichments. Let's enable all of that. This is something I forgot to mention. So depending on how often you sync data, it's likely that things won't change that fast. So you may want to save what you already have rather than running the same thing over and over again. Just select this and see how it goes. So the knowledge store is that for you to avoid wasting money, basically. So just let me select one thing here real quick. Oh, everything's already selected, sorry. I'll create this index real quick for us. Yeah. So let's, what's going on? Fail by some reason. Oh yeah, this is interesting. So it detected that there's some PII in the data it wants to extract. This is a cool demo, actually. So if you let, for example, your users to search direct, this is not something you should do, but let's assume you want users to search data directly from your search service. You may face such a thing where you'll be exposing PII data by mistake, and this can lead to legal problems. So this is why things fail. The data sets I used contain PII, and because of that, my demo failed. Let me try a different one that's not the case. I'll skip the NAI enrichment for now, creating Go. That's all I wanted. So it's in progress. Yeah, it may take some seconds because it's possible that the database is a serverless one, so it's getting awake. It worked, so it took 18 seconds to index almost 5,000 documents. If we jump to the index now, let's go to hotels, create demo app. I'm just doing it faster this time because I already showed you guys the things I had in here. So just let me select this, sorry, hotel name and description. Yeah, so this is more interesting. create another one. I think I did something wrong. Real quick. Sorry about it. So let me see one thing. Interesting. Queen. Yeah, I just realized I did something wrong. Sorry. Let me try one last time. I didn't mark anything. Which is interesting. All right. So let's check the sample two. All right, we do have data now. I don't know what was the difference. I think I did something wrong. Let's consider the it's fine. Cool. And this is a better example. So the facets we can filter by, for example, let's search by hotel. I don't even know if there's such a, yeah, there's hotel, and let's say that we want only in Belgium. So it filters by documents that contain the hotel word, and only the, actually it searches for the hotel word and filters by Bellevue city, and we can specify only on that price range, for example. Yeah, things are super expensive in Bellevue. And I do think there's some paging here, yeah. So you can navigate, and yeah, this is pretty much it. By default, this demo we cannot specify sorting, but it's sorting by relevance, the built-in one. If we do want, we can customize it by scoring profiles. And yeah, I think this is it I had prepared for today. I apologize for the technical problems. Hopefully, it won't happen again.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, Thiago. Yeah. Well, that's really interesting that you can export this sort of JavaScript HTML page, right? And simply hooking like to the APIs and just leveraging search.
Yeah.
Oh,
So there is a text component called type ahead, something like this. That
mhm,
it's the standard when we build UIs. But this single page application speed up a lot the not only the display but the
mhm.
development itself, right? It saves you a lot
Yeah.
of time.
Yeah.
and it help you figure out if you forgot to select something. And obviously,
Simply don't get any results.
yeah, just like how I did. That's cool, man. And okay, so this is only the searching part, right? There's the some AI enrichment that I show here, like the OCR and key extraction from images. But there's the second part, which is the where the efforts are being invested at the moment. So
Hmm.
how do you plug this with OpenAI, for example? And there's a new trend as well, which is called vector databases. So
Hmm.
vector databases, you can vectorize images and texts. So you'll create like a matrix, and you whenever you search, you also vectorize that term, and it will enable the search not only on text but images, videos, audio files. All of that can be possible. This is all running on top of vector databases, and Azure Cognitive Search now supports. It's one of the possibilities for you to store vectors on Azure. So this is one, and the other one is to plug the OpenAI with that, so you can create uh, rich experiences on top of your private data, combining Azure Cognitive Search and OpenAI. So OpenAI, just to clarify, it's about prompting and realize meaning of what you're trying to say. Then it has the knowledge, which is a large language model. But if you do have private data, it cannot. You can use Azure OpenAI on top of your private data, but this is something more advanced where you combine those both things. So there's one pattern called um, retrieval augmented generation. So it's all about doing first a search in your Azure Cognitive Search. It will detect the documents that contains that particular term, and then you let um, OpenAI to detect the or not detect, but figure out the answer for your prompt on top of those documents. So this is
Hmm.
those are the things I wish I could demonstrate today, but we ran out of time, and today was more about explaining the foundations. This is more advanced. Maybe it's a topic for a second talk.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think like this one, this one-on-ones, really good just to get people across and getting to use the service and come like with like more even like questions or any other use cases.
Yeah,
So yeah.
I didn't mention here, but I implemented this a lot of times. Not
Hmm.
next finish, but real
Yeah.
world ones. I do
Yep.
have some interesting cases. One, the my favorite one, to be honest, is one that I did for an Australian company. They do um, they do casting for TV shows like Married at First Sight, The Voice, Australia, and so on and so on. And users, they feel like a very long questions, answers to questions like, "Hey, have you ever, been on a TV show before? Tell us about your experience on acting and things like that." And they type all kind of things, right? And
Hmm.
they sometimes they want to find a specific um, profile for a TV show. Like for example, I don't know if there's such a show in Australia, but imagine American Got Talent or Australian Got Talent. That
Yep.
hopefully there's something like that, and they want like a magician. So they type magician, and they go only over the profiles or the users that are real magicians or something like this.
Hmm.
Yeah, and it's super helpful for them. They manage to find amazing talents for the shows they have. I implemented Azure Cognitive Search for intranets, pretty much what was possible using SharePoint, but with way
Hmm.
better performance and more rich experience. And yeah, those are from the top of my mind, but I do have like at least 10 different projects running using Azure
Yeah.
Cognitive Search.
No, yeah. I think like I can see with open AI, right, and how you're going to be hooking like those different data sources. And when you're leveraging search and the vector search, I think that when things get like really interesting. And but like there's like the service itself without AI, but like and then you have the service on wheels with AI, right? Then I think like combining those together, that's it seems like really interesting. Yeah, I think that's what I can see that teams are exploring more as
Yeah,
well. Yeah.
in the end, it's all about saving time. So there are some interesting use cases for those two scenarios. Those things you just mentioned, the vector and the OpenAI. So there's a demo from Microsoft about um, they do have insurance policies, and it's like 100 pages, right? And you're not sure about the difference between a plan and another plan, so you prompt Azure OpenAI about, hey, does my insurance plan covers this? I need to go after the policy and figure out it's some very interesting things. Others about the vector one is about similarities. So let's say, for example, hey, uh, you have like the South Island, the beautiful landscapes, and you want to search something that's similar to that, right? How do you describe? Hey, find me a mountain that is as beautiful as the one from the South Island in New Zealand.
Hmm.
May or may not retrieve something relevant, right? But once you vectorize that and you have enough or a large um, database of images, it's
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah. Really cool. Yeah, can you like to explore more like on search? If you have like more to come, just let us know, and then we can arrange like another session. Yeah.
Yeah, the next one, I actually have more plans to show those scenarios, and
Hmm.
it will be more uh, focusing on code maybe. And now I know I will not run things on background.
Yeah, just all good. Yeah, lesson learned.
Yeah, sorry about it. Hopefully, uh, at least the second part, we had less cuts because I
Yeah.
was, streaming the audio from one computer, the screen from the other one, and
Hmm.
I think it helped a little bit as well.
Yeah, I'll put a note on comments on the streaming that gets recorded, so people just jump the time that where we had issues, and then when things got back on track. But yeah, we're live here. Things happen.
Jump from minute 15 to 45. Give me five.
Correct. Yeah. So people just go like direct to the points. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Sorry, guys. I'm in the other side of the planet,
Yeah.
and
Correct.
things were crazy here.
No,
3 a.m.
we
The computer was lazy as well.
no. Thanks for coming and sharing this session. I think people are going to understand like the how powerful the service is and get like more interested, get to explore. I think that's the main intent. And yeah, and thanks for your time, Thiago. I really appreciate that you're coming from the other side of the world. And yeah,
Yeah, it
and
was my pleasure. Actually, thanks so much for inviting me. Thank you guys who stay until this time, besides all the problems, or even if you jump to this recorder. Thank you so much. Feel free to drop a message, contact with me for LinkedIn, Twitter. Those are the ones that I stay active, or I don't know, just feel
Yeah.
free to, if you see me on streets or anywhere, just let me know, say hi.
All good. No, thanks, Thiago. Thanks for staying with us like until this time. And yeah, we should have like other sessions coming soon. In general, we have like monthly sessions. It just depends on content. But yeah, I'd like to thank you for staying with us and keep in touch. Yeah, if you have like any interesting sessions to share or any particular content, and even if you don't have like any such experience as a speaker, feel free just to ping me, and then we can align like a conversation and see how you can share like your content. Yeah. Well, thank you. Yeah. Good evening, and catch you guys later.
Stay safe. Thank you.